Maseches Bava Kama, Daf Kuf Daled Amud Aleph. Before we continue, and we are here towards the bottom of the page, an answer to a question we saw previously. Amri lo psikale. We have to give a small introduction about what was going on here before. We're basically talking about a person who wants to receive money from another person. And the two people, the one who needs to receive the money, could be the money was stolen from him, the money was a loan that has to be returned, whatever it may be, the money has to be returned, and the two people live far apart. The one who wants to give the money and the one who wants to receive the money, they don't live in the same place. So now the person who wants to get the money to receive, he basically wants to make a shaliach. He wants to tell another person, you come and take the money on my behalf. Is that possible or not? So really, we saw, and we're going to see now, that there are three levels of shlichus. Basically, level number one, the lowest one, is a shliach, which I call the non-halachic shliach. As the Gemara called it, schiroi velakitoi. A person who is not really appointed by the shaliach, but the shaliach, the one who created the shaliach, is the one who wants to receive the money, and he told the person, you get the money for me. But if he did not do it in front of two eidim, he did not actually officially appoint and nominate him to be the shaliach in front of two eidim, that is to say, he's just a nice guy who will do the job for me and get the money for me. But he's not an official shaliach. As opposed to, let's look at level number two, and then we'll understand the difference. The higher level of shlichus, which we saw before, is a machlokas between Rabbi and Rav Chizda. Let's follow for now Rav Chizda's opinion. If a person said in front of two eidim to a shliach, you be my shliach, and there are two eidim who testified that you're the shliach, then he becomes the halachic shliach. He becomes a real shaliach, and that means that what? That in the case of the first shaliach, who's not an official halachic shaliach, we say if the giver of the money, who owes money, who has to give back money, if this person gives the money to the hands of the shaliach and the money got lost, then he has to give it again, because he did not really give it to the hands of the recipient. The shaliach is not really the long arm, the yad arichta of the recipient. And therefore, if anything happens to the money on the way from the house of the giver to the house of the receiver, if the shaliach loses the money, it flies off his motorcycle, something happens, gets stolen, then he has to give again the money. Sheikh in the second level shaliach, the shaliach which is official and formal, and is a halachic shaliach, is a yad arichta. He's like the long arm of the receiver, of the recipient. And therefore, if once the money was given to his hands, it's as if the money is given to the hands of the recipient. And now that's it. Even if anything happens to it, that's not the responsibility anymore of the one that had to give the money. We'll make a short stop over here. Now, the Mishnah spoke about a third level of a shlichus. That level is a person who is a shliach BSD. Shliach BSD is a shaliach that works with BSD. He's a more formal, official shliach and a more trustworthy shliach than the other two that we spoke about before. Now, the Gemara had a question beforehand. The Gemara asked, according to Rav Chizda, since shlichus works with two eidim, a person can say, you are two eidim, I'm nominating here a shliach, that's good enough. Now the shliach can receive the money on his behalf, and the giver it's out of his responsibility. Good, it's as if the person received it to his own hands. If so, why did the Mishnah say that in a case of theft, we said if a person wants to give back the stolen item or its value to the victim, one stolen from the nigzal, it has to be through shliach bezdin. Why shliach bezdin? Why not a regular shliach appointed by the nigzal, by the recipient, the one who wants to receive back the stolen goods? Answers the Gemara, Amri, they said loy psikalei, because the Mishnah didn't want to talk about something that is not clear cut, something that's not black and white. And therefore, shliach bezdin, by shliach bezdin, the shliach which is the super duper shliach, the shliach that's good on all accounts, losh naso nigzal, velosh naso gazlan. Wow. Whether that shliach was appointed by the nigzal, by the victim who wants to get back the money, or even if it was made by the gazlan, the one who wants to give back the money, and he is the one, the gazlan, is the one who wants to give the money, and he appointed shliach bezdin, which means it never really left his domain. It's his shliach. It's still under the hands of the gazlan who wants to give the money. Still have a shliach, nevertheless. That's a big chiddush. The shliach bezdin is so good. Shliach bezdin is so functional that once you give it to the hands of shliach bezdin, even if it was made by the nigzal, but the gazlan, the one who wants to give back, even there he works, and the gazlan can go home, give his osham to Beis HaMikdash. That's the third kapar of the osham, and that's it. Psikale. So the Mishnah spoke about something that's clear cut. Nigzal gazlan, shliach bezdin is amazing, regardless to who appointed him. However, shliach shaso be'edim, you know why the Mishnah did not speak about the regular shliach, which according to Rav Chizda is a good shliach that was made by regular edim? I'll tell you why. The chiyaso nigzal hudav shliach. Regular shliach, which is not a shliach bezdin, the level 2 shliach. He is nigzal. If he's made by the nigzal, is appointed by the nigzal, is a shliach. Because lamaisa, once in the hands of the shliach nigzal, it's like it arrived in the long arm in the hands of the nigzal, of the recipient, and that's good. So gazlan lo avi shliach. But if the gazlan appointed the regular shliach on his own behalf, that's not good. As long as your shliach is flying all the way to Modai, your shliach, it's still in the domain of your shliach, which is you, the giver. It never reached the hands of the shliach, of the nigzal, of the final address. Still a responsibility. Lo psikale, because you have a difference between nigzal and gazlan when it comes to regular shliach. The Mishnah did not want to talk about something that is not clear cut. Now, all that we've said argues on a different opinion. That comes to exclude, to argue on an opinion of a different Tana. It says by Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Reb Shimon ben Elazar, the grandson of Reb Shimon ben Yochai, he said, Oimer, Shliach Bezdin, Shasoi Nigzal, Velo Asoi Gazlan. Shliach Bezdin only works either if the gazlan the nigzal made him, the recipient, the victim that's supposed to get back his gzela, if he made the shliach bezdin, that works. Because that shliach is the long arm, the long hand of the recipient. Once I put it in his hands as a gazlan, good, that's it. However, I saw gazlan, but if the gazlan made shliach bezdin, unlike what we said before, that it still works because it's the shliach bezdin, even if the gazlan made him, it's good. That opinion says no. I saw gazlan v'sholach holav v'notel es shaloi miyodoi. No, only if the nigzal took it from the hands of the shliach, then it's good, which means it's not really a shliach, because only when he arrived in the real hands of the nigzal or his party, then potur. Otherwise, no. So bekitzer, we have a machloikas regarding shliach bezdin. That magical shliach bezdin, which we say in the Mishnah, does he work on behalf of both gazlan or nigzal, or does he only work right, if he's on behalf of the nigzal? Now, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar both support the opinion of Chizda, who argued with Rabbah. And what do they say? Shliach shaso be'edim havi shliach. A shliach made by edim without bezdin. Regular shliach made by the shaliach wants to receive the money, and there are two edim who witness he is being appointed to that. That's a good shliach. And once the person wanting to return the money put it in his hands, that's good enough, and he can go drink his coffee, go home, and be happy. Finished. He's atoned for. No achrayus. In Tomer Mishnah Seinu, our Mishnah did not say that. Our Mishnah spoke about a shliach that does not work. I'm not talking here about the top shliach bezdin, which always works. The Mishnah seems to indicate that a shliach that is not shliach bezdin is not good. No, that's b'mamtzil shliach. We're talking about the lowest level of shliach, as we mentioned before, that was not properly appointed with two edim. What is he? Mamti shliach the omerle. A person told a friend of his, listen, Isli Zuzi Gabi Plani, I'm telling you something technical. Listen, I have Zuzi, I have money by someone, Mr. Ploini. And unfortunately, it's been a long time. He did not send me back the money that he owes me. Ischazile, please make yourself available and make yourself visible, Ischazi, to him. Maybe he just didn't find anybody to send the money, which means, in other words, we're not talking about an official shliach that really wants to, that has excuse me. We're not talking here about someone that has real shlichus with the pitch of shlichus that you're the shliach and once it's in your hands, that's it. You are like my hand. Your hand is like my hand. No, it's a guy that was told, listen, you happen to go to that place, make yourself available for him. So yeah, I'm making it more easy, more accessible for you to send. Just a technical thing, but it does not mean that once it's in the hands of that shliach, then it's a done deal. No, if the shliach loses it on the way, then the gazlan will have to pay again. Inami, or alternatively, the same answer like Rav Chizda, b'schiroi v'lakitoi. Schiroi v'lakitoi means this is just a person who works with him, a person who was taken to his house, like a ben bais, like an adopted person. So that person, again, is an informal, non-halachic shliach, and the only reason why he's trusted to be given the money to his hands, and we don't doubt the fact who said he made you a shliach b'chlal, is because he's known to be his friend. Yet somebody knocks on your door and says, I am so-and-so friend, and you recognize him to be Mr. So-and-so friend, and you know you owe money to Mr. So-and-so, you can give it to the hands of Mr. So-and-so, but he's not a shliach. He's not a person who, once you gave it to his hands, it's either in the hands of the shaliach, the original guy, the recipient. Here comes another sugya on the heels of the previous one. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says on behalf of Shmuel, Ein mishalchin mois b'dyukni. One should not send money b'dyukni, with a shtar that has a dyukni. Dyukni means basically a picture. Some people in the times of the Gemara would not write their names as a signature. They would have a graphic symbol, a symbol that they would write at the end of a document, which would represent them. For example, the Gemara says in Bava Basra Kuf Samech Aleph Amud Beis that Rav had a picture of a fish, and whenever people saw that particular shape of fish, they would know, oh, that's Rav's signature. So let's say a person sends a shtar, and the shtar says, I am now appointing Mr. So-and-so that just knocked on your door. He has a document in his hands, that messenger, and I appointed him shliach, who signed a shape of glasses, and who says that Mr. Glasses is really the one that you owe money to. Oh, there are two eidim signed on the shtar. Those two eidim do not say that they know that the shliach is appointed. Had they written that, that would be good according to Rav Chizda. And many Rishonim Paskin like Rav Chizda, just like the eidim can speak, the eidim can also write the shtar. We know that he is the shliach. That's not the case. The eidim are only made, and I forgot to continue, va'afilu eidim chasumim aleh. Even if there are eidim signed, and the eidim say, listen, we know that a picture of glasses means Beryl Shmerel, the one you owe, that you owe money to, that is not good enough. We basically do not rely on dyukni. We don't rely on signatures that are not normal handwriting, but a shape. Now, Tesis points out that in the case of a famous person like Rav or others, they would, yes, sign their names with the shape of a fish or a boat or there are other things there. Yeah. It does not mean that that's only by famous people. Famous people, everybody knows that that particular fish shape is the signature of Rav. But if you're not Rav, if you're not a celebrity, you're a regular person, then for you, really, the shape is just not reliable enough. Maybe other people have the same shape as the signature. So don't give the money to a person that comes and tells you, I am the shliach of so-and-so. Look, there's a document in my hands, and the document is signed with some funny shape. Rabbi Yochanan argues, and he says, "Im edim chasumim aleh mishalchin." Rabbi Yochanan says, no. If there are edim who verify the signature that interesting shape is a signature of Mr. So and so, they're edim on that. We rely on that, and we do send the money back with that person. Ami. Now, let's get a question. L'Shmuel, my takanta. According to Shmuel, what's the takana? According to Shmuel, you cannot write the shape. You cannot use a regular shape of anything except for your own chasima. So what would be the takana? What would be a good solution if a person wants to return the money through a shliach, and that shliach came with some funny shaped shtar signed with a picture of a house? So what's the takana? Lamaisa the Rishon asks a question, what do you mean what's the takana? You can make a regular signature. So the Gemara is looking for yet another takana. Some Rishonim, by the way, say, I want to go back to the previous sugya, that Shmuel held the loch is like Rabbah. And the Rabbah holds that when you have two edim, that's not good enough. So according to Rabbah, even if you come with a signed document by two edim, that wouldn't be good enough, right? And if you have your signature funny, not good enough. So what is the solution? Answers the Gemara, there's another solution, very creative. And also from the solution, we're going to see also another problem with making a shliach, which explains the question better, Maita Kanta. Answers the Gemara. Yada Rabbi Abba, remember the three names in this following story. Rabbi Abba is the person owed money to, and he wants to receive his money from a person living far away. Yada Rabbi Abba Havimasik Zuzi, Rabba was collecting money, Rabba was owed money by Rav Yosef Bar Chama. Rabbi Abba is owed money by Rav Yosef Bar Chama. Rav Yosef Bar Chama is the one who borrowed money some time ago. Rav Yosef Bar Chama lives far away from Rav. Amalul Rav Safra, Rabbi Abba, the one who wants to receive back the money, get back the money, he told Rav Safra is the shliach, is the middleman. He asked Rav Safra, Behadi the Osis, when you anyhow go to the house of Rav Yosef, I see Nuniali, bring me the money from Rav Yosef. All very nice. He also lahosam, when Rav Safra went to Rav Yosef, Amalul Rava Brei, Rava, the son of Rav Yosef, started asking questions. And he said, Mikosav lecho is kabalti? Did the recipient who sent you here, which is Rabbi Abba, did he actually write your document that says he's kabalti, that when you put it in the hands of the shliach of Safra, it's as if I received it myself? Are you an official shliach? Giving to your hands is like giving to the hands of Rabbi Abba. Is that so? Amar lei, lie. Nope. I have no such document. I'm not a formal shliach. I'm just a nice man doing a favor. Wasn't authorized as an official shliach. Yochi. So he answered back. Now, don't get confused. Rav Yosef and Rava are of the same party. Rav Yosef and Rava, they say, if so, zil bereisha. First of all, go at the beginning. Dichtav lecha is kabalti, and he should write to you is kabalti. I want him, the shaliach, supposed to receive the money, is kabalti. Otherwise, if I give the money to you and you're not in a formal shliach, you know what's going to happen if you lose the money? Or if the money gets stolen, or I don't know what, I'll have to give you again. I'm not willing to risk that. L'saif Amarle, but at the end he told him, no, wait a minute. No, he told him at the end, he changed his mind and he said, no, that's not good enough. And now we're going to see how big the problem is. He told him, one who's supposed to give the money, Rav Bar Yosef, told Rav Safra, the shliach, because of lechonami iskabalti, even if he writes to iskabalti, lav klumu, that's nothing, it's not good enough. Why? Dilma, maybe ad osis, until you come here, at some point between you getting the shtar of official shlichus from Rabbi Abba, until you come here, shachiv Rabbi Abba. Rabbi Abba was very old, maybe he's going to die. There's a question whether we are or not concerned for death. We're actually usually not concerned for death. But here he wanted to cover himself on all grounds, and he said, listen, maybe their shaliach who appointed you to be the shliach, he may die. V'noflu zuzi kami asmi, that the money will fall into the hands of the Yisayimim. And you know the Yisayimim, the heirs of Rabbi Abba are going to tell me, is kabalti Rabbi Abba lav klumu. They would say, excuse me, our father appointing that man, Rav Safra, as a shliach does not obligate us at all. It doesn't mean anything for us. And therefore, I'll give the money to your hands. You'll be welcomed. You'll be received not by the father who sent you, but by his children who do not recognize your shlichus. And if you lose the money, they'll say, pay us again. We are the heirs. We are owed the money. But on the other hand, we do not appoint the shliach. And I will be stuck high and dry. So now Rav Safra, the shliach, asks, so what's the takana? What can we do then? So he answered him, yes, zil, there is a solution. Zil, go. Zil, niktun lecho agav ara. You know, the only solution is sometimes if you become the owner. If you, Rav Safra, are upgraded from a mere shliach into being an owner of the actual money that's in my hand, that's going to be work good. Once you're the owner, nobody can argue with you. I cannot argue with you. Once it's in your hands, I'm out of the question. How can you be koine and acquire the money that's far away from you and far away from Rabbi Abba, the owner? Everybody knows about kinyan agav. Kinyan agav means that a person may be makne, a piece of land to his friend, and agav, a top of the land, even if not physically on top, together with the land is a secondary thing, top of the kinyan of the land. Also, you buy metaltalin, you buy mobile goods and money. So you can buy the money, you can be the owner of the money through being the owner of the karka. And you should come. You should give us a receipt. You, as the owner, say, I received it. No more claims. Whatever happens from now on is not the responsibility of those who are supposed to return the money, of Yosef and Rava. And that works very well. And we see a story from a different, similar incident where this trick kind of worked. Yodo of Popo have a masik Teresa Alfi Zuzi Bechozoi. Rav Popo was a rich man, and he was collecting from Bechozoi, from people in the town of Bechozoi, 12,000 zuz. And what was the way for him to get it from them? Through a shaliach. Akninu nialei, he was makne, he gave it over, he sold it, so to speak, over the money, Rav Shmuel bar Abba. The money owed to him now belonged to Shmuel bar Abba, agav a sefer de beisei. He was makne, gave the money of the 12,000 zuz to Shmuel bar Abba, together on top of the threshold of his house. Again, the money does not have to be on the karka. It's a question in Kiddushin, of Basra, the Master says in Kiddushin, Daf Chavov, and in Basra, Ein Zayin, it doesn't have to be together on the karka. But if the metaltalin are away from the karka, but are mentally in the kinyan, they're lumped together, then it's good enough. So now there was good shlichus of Shmuel bar Abba, now became the owner of the money that's supposed to be collected. And the one giving back the money, the Bechozoi, has no claims. Listen, I'm the owner, mister. You can't argue with me. I'm more than just a shliach. He also, the end of the story, when Rav Shmuel came back to Rav Papa, Nofek Lape Ad Tavach. Rav Papa came all the way halfway through. He came to greet him because he was so happy that he got his money back. Or you could say, like Baruch said yesterday, you could say that the reason why he went all the way is because he didn't want Rav Papa to lose the money. Because still, although the one giving the money is now off the hook because the money was given to the owner, but Lamaisa, the money vis-a-vis between the shaliach and the real owner, that's a problem, because if the shaliach is not honest, the shaliach can say it's my money, right? Or if the shaliach loses it, then he may not be achroy to give it to the meshaliach. So he quickly made sure that he got what he needed. Now we're entering a different sugya, and the sugya is the sugya of choimesh. What did we see in the Mishnah? Again, let's summarize what it says in Vayikra Hey. It says if a person steals money and then he was nishba v'sheker, and then he was nishba v'sheker, he swore that he did not steal, he doesn't have the money, he never got it into his hands, and eventually admitted to be a liar. What happens then? Then we say that he is chayav to give the keren, the principal, choimish, which is an extra quarter, really, not a fifth, and also osham korban osham. And we also said in the Mishnah that if the person was moichel, the recipient that was stolen from originally, if the victim says, I'm moichel the choimish, you don't have to give me, then you don't have to give him the choimish. Oh, zog the Gemara, alma, that is to say, choimish mamaynahu. That is to say that choimish, the fifth or the quarter, the extra payment, which is like a penalty, or I would say a kapora, is not stam a kapora between him and Hashem. It's translated into being real money owed to the nigzal, and therefore the nigzal can waver it off, can be moichel. Because if the money was not owed to the nigzal, how can he give it away? How can he decide it's not mine? And also he demands it, as we'll see later on, he can demand it. If this was stam a mitzvah korban, like a korban, a person cannot tell his friend, I moichel you. You don't have to give your korban osham. It's none of your business. Elamai, we see that the chomish is not stam a kapara that happens to be thrown into the hands of the victim. It's real money owed to the victim, and the victim can either decide to take it or not to take it or to demand it. And the nafkamina is the imais shalmi leYolshim. If the Gazlan died, then the Yolshim, the what's their names, the heirs, the children of the Gazlan, they have to pay it. Which means, if Chomish was just a kapara, like a korban, if daddy died and did not bring a korban, the children don't have to bring a korban. But if daddy died and owes money, actual money, choshen mishpat money in Beis Din, then of course the Yorshim have to pay. Oh, here, if you say it's real actual money owed, they have to pay it further after his death. But not nami. And we see also in our very own Mishnah, another proof to the point that this is actual money owed in Beis Din, just a financial thing. Nasan as a keren, v'nish ba'al choimish. Let's say a person gave the 1,000 shekel that he stole, but the 250, he falsely swore, I gave the 250, the extra choimish, that extra penalty, I gave it to you. Don't remember? I swear in Hashem, Sefer Torah open. And then you admit to be a liar. Ari moisif choimish al choimish. Then now a fifth of the 250, now he has to give to the other person, because now the choimish itself became the issue of gzeila. He's holding back the choimish belonging to the victim. Oh, alma, that is to say, choimish mamaynahu. You see that choimish is mamayin. You see that choimish is actually money, because otherwise, why is he demanding it? And I have to like apologize and swear and lie or not lie. It's none of your business to begin with. You see, choimish is real money owed to the actual victim, and not stam knas or kapara. V'tane nami hafi. And we see another brisa that supports what we're saying. A person stole from his friend, nishba, he swore, sheker, and he admitted sheker, and he died. So the Gazlan went through the entire process, and then he died owing a fifth to his friend. Yorshin meshalmin keren v'choimish. Yorshim pay not only keren, also choimish, also the fifth, which is really a quarter. They really have to pay because it's money, regular money owed by the father, like any other money that a person dies, and we assume the children have to pay, which is also a question. And yet the potter min asham, asham, which is the korban, they don't have to give. Asham is absolutely, completely korban ben adam l'mokoy, between the person and Hashem, and that's it. The Yolshim, frag the Gemara, b'nei shlum chumsha davun havu. Are you sure that the Yorshim are actually people that have to pay the fifth owed by the father? The Raminu, skip the parentheses, we'll see another brisa that says just the opposite. Tomorrow we're going to see the contradiction. We're going to see tomorrow, Meretz Hashem, a brisa that says that the Yorshim do not have to pay a fifth. And the question is why? That will be continued tomorrow. One brisa says they have to pay the chomish, one brisa says they don't have to pay chomish. And the Gemara is going to give us, of course, an amazing answer. Have a very good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.